good? What's good? I fly, swing in the drive.
This is Cheap Seat, the series where I find the worst seat at every Major League ballpark. Today I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, taking a look at Progressive Field, home of the Guardians, and the worst seat here might be the most expensive of this entire series. Progressive is surprisingly one of the older ballparks in the league, which is normally a bad sign in this series, but it was extremely difficult to find any kind of obstructed view. It took me a few laps around, but I eventually found this one in a spot I'd never expect, Section 138, Row C, Seat 10. You'd think the third row next to the dugout would be a fantastic spot, but when you sit down, your view of home plate is blocked by the dugout. You can still see almost the entire field, but for the price you'll have to pay to sit here, your seat is way worse than everyone else around you. As expected for this spot, the seat is comfortable and you have decent legroom, but unless you want back pain or to stand the whole game, this will be a pretty annoying spot. At the end of the day, this is far from the worst seat that we've seen, but it definitely won't be a cheap seat. Let me know which ballpark's worst seat I should find next. This is...
Fat home run. I got a bat.
All right, so we actually left the field, but just found out he actually did hit a homer. We were honestly joking, but you know what? He's got one more game tonight, so let's go hook him up with a brand new goods.
What's up, brother? Oh, I thought that was going. Fat home. Fat.
Don't fucking come to me and tell me what I'm doing. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Okay. This breakdown is brought to you by DraftKings. But his pitching coach is going to come out and yell at him like, dude, what are you doing? Get the fuck away from him. Yeah. Get the fuck away from him. Get over here. Hey, shut the fuck up.
What's good? What's good, guys? I'm just watching.
And now the Red Sox coaches are yelling. And the Angels coach is going to walk up and stick up for his dude. He's going to let him know. He's going to say, you're a fucking coach. Don't fucking talk to a player that way. You know, we're supposed to be bigger. We're supposed to diffuse this shit. You cost him his game. You cost him his game or something like that. What was the first base coach doing during his start? He cost him the game. Well, this is the box score, and you can see Tyler Anderson was pitching pretty well. He was 4 innings, only 1 earned run, and then that 5th inning, they pushed 4 across. This is a cut fastball. And if you look at the first base coach, top right of the screen, he is standing still on the cut fastball. Now, this next pitch right here is a 4-seam fastball. And the first base coach, top right, standing still. Now, this next pitch is a changeup. And you can see the first base coach, starts moving his feet a little bit. Starts walking on the changeup. He's not looking at the pitcher. He's not. He's standing still here on the fastball, not looking at the pitcher. Not looking at the pitcher, starts walking. Umpire comes in. He's cool. He's fun. He's hip. Not looking at the pitcher, starts walking. So on the top, you can see the catcher. His right foot is way towards the other batter's box. He scoots out there, and his glove is down. On the bottom, you're going to see him ass more in the air, and the glove location is high and inside. Bottom are fastballs, top are changeups. And you can see the catcher, he's going to go up and in, and you can see there's no movement anywhere. Fastball comes. 4th pitch, catcher moves to the right. First base coach sees that, starts walking, and big swing at the changeup. Now watch this one. This is a changeup, but the coach does not walk on that. So I was like, okay, so what did the catcher do here? He fakes low with the glove. He's not moving until the pitcher is in his motion. So there's not enough time. There's no signal from the first base coach, and luckily it's just in the dirt. We've got the last pitch coming. We've got the catcher setting up way early. We've got the first base coach seeing that, walking down the line, sees the coach moving his feet a little bit, knows the changeup is coming, sits on it, and absolutely drills it over the outfielder's head, off the monster. 1 run scores. This breakdown was brought to you by Draft.
What's good? I'm just planning another song where I'm thinking of something. So, like another baseball song or something. And it just came up to my head, like, what would every commentator would say when somebody hits a home run? Like, I always think, what would they always say? Now, everybody says it differently. Yes, I did shower, so my hair is kind of a mess. Hold on. If I go back to the Guardians, let me... So here's what Tom Hamilton said.
1 pitch. Swung out and drilled to deep right. Away back. Go!
He said, high, deep to right, and gone. Oh yeah, here's a good one. High fly, swing and a drive, big gone. And then just some other words. But I know that's probably going to be one. High fly, swing and a drive, getting that go back gone. Comes, I gotta get it face. I don't know. But I know it's probably going to be like, high fly, swing and a drive, gonna go back on. High fly, swing and a drive, gonna go back on. Good eye, going to face the pitcher. I don't know. Something I'm gonna have to figure out. Huh.
Despite a life filled with tragedy, Freddie Freeman has long been known as baseball's ultimate good guy.
He gives the best bear hugs in the bigs. They ought to call him Friendly Freeman.
In 2020, Freeman was scheduled to play a game at 6:05 p.m. in Washington, D.C. That morning, he took a flight home to Atlanta, stayed in Atlanta for 2 hours, then took a flight back to D.C. in time for the game, just so he could go to his son's T-ball practice.
Anything the Lord lets me do, I do it. Talk to my grandpa about the Lord and with our Bibles and stuff.
Freeman was voted the nicest infielder to have a conversation with. According to him, Bryce Harper is his favorite player to talk to at first because, quote, we talk about how awesome our wives are.
You're on the road a lot, find the girls that come around a lot, and you try and push that away. You know, there's always alcohol around. I don't do that.
There's only one thing on earth this guy loves more than his wife. That's his kids. He lets his kids pick his walk-up music. He engraves each of their names on a different bat, then rotates between all 3 bats so they all feel included. He plays baseball with them and hits bombs off them. Oh.
Drops the ball.
And has even been known to do interviews with his son.
Is there lots of lights?
Yeah.
Water usage.
Yeah.
Yeah, bobbleheads.
Yeah.
And he was fantastic. He was
Yeah,
so cool.
come on.
Yeah, I have lots of them back there.
Yeah.
But we waited a year for it. That was a huge 2-run homer.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Mr. Michael striking someone out. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Hey.
Oh, lots of microphones, huh?
Yeah.
But that's what we've done all year.
But Freeman's childhood wasn't as happy, and one specific event changed his life forever.
Oh, I've seen this before. I've seen this video before. This one actually teared me up the last time when I watched it. It made me sad. Like, this video made me really, really sad. The last time I seen this, now you guys get a better picture. But this video made me really sad the last time I saw it. I was crying for like 5 minutes in the video, but
Freeman often breaks down completely. It affects him to this day, and is why this emotional moment between Freeman and his father warmed the hearts of millions. And according to his teammate, this moment occurred when Freddie Freeman was likely extremely high on painkillers. Because about a month before Freddie Freeman had a moment that made him a household name among sports fans, Freeman did this. With only a week left of the season, he severely sprained his ankle. He could barely move. It's an injury that takes 4 to 6 weeks to heal. Freeman was still in a walking boot, but a week later, he told the media that he was going to try to play. He then went to the batting cages to prepare, took some swings, and collapsed in pain. According to a report by Jeff Passan, he couldn't even get himself off the floor. He was taken in to get x-rays and found out he had broken the cartilage in his rib, an injury that typically sidelines players for months. Doctors told the Dodgers Freeman had a 1% chance to play, but a day later, with a broken rib and a sprained ankle, he played anyway. On an ankle he wasn't even supposed to walk on, Freeman ripped a first inning single. When he came up again in the third, he got another single. Then, against all orders, without an ankle, Freeman stole second base. This made things even worse. The next game, he couldn't even make it past 2 at-bats before he had to leave the game early. By playing through the pain, he had developed a bone bruise on top of his already sprained ankle from his bones, quote, smacking against each other. Freeman started taping his ankle over his cleat. Even this simple play almost ruined him. He could barely move and still got a hit against one of the best relievers in the league. In Game 5, this semi-routine play was so painful for Freeman that the team literally had to do a mound visit just to give him a break. In their next game, he scored from second on a hit and almost collapsed in Mookie Betts' arms. According to his teammate Miguel Rojas, Freeman was forced to take painkiller shots in his ankle and butt every 25 minutes throughout the playoffs. And through the first 2 series, he had 7 hits in 7 games. However, not one of them was an extra base hit. His power was completely gone. His OPS was a terrible 461. His manager had forced Freeman to sit out multiple games due to this injury, and there were questions on whether or not he should even be on the roster going into the World Series. But come Game 1, Freddie was in the game, and in his very first at-bat, he roped a triple. He then went 0 for 3 in his next 3 at-bats as the Dodgers fell behind. And going into the 10th, they needed to score at least 1 to stay alive. The Yankees just need 1 more out to win this game. They decide to walk Mookie Betts on purpose so they can instead face an injured Freddie Freeman. And on the very first pitch of the at-bat, Freeman hits the ball to right field.
she is gone.
This was the first walk-off grand slam in World Series history. It will go down as one of the clutchest hits in baseball history. And immediately afterwards, Freeman ran up to his father sitting behind home plate and embraced his dad. The only reason Freeman's dad was even allowed to be at this game was because Freeman had saved his own dad's life 2 decades earlier. Freeman was just 12 years old at the time and had already gone through a life-altering event. When he was 5 years old, his mother was diagnosed with skin cancer. At first, it was just a scare. The cancer went away and Freeman's life went back to normal. 5 years later, the cancer returned. Freeman temporarily quit baseball. His whole life became dedicated to spending time with his mother, but after several months of treatment, she tragically passed away. He was just 10.
Oh. I'll tell you the name here.
Old at the time and had already gone through a life-altering event. When he was 5 years old, his mother was diagnosed with skin cancer. At first, it was just a scare. The cancer went away and Freeman's life went back to normal. 5 years later, the cancer returned. Freeman temporarily quit baseball. His whole life became dedicated to spending time with his mother, but after several months of treatment, she tried.
So the name was Rosemary Joy Freeman, born on July 18th, 1952. Died June 13th,
He was just 10 years
2001. I don't know. Maybe 2000 exact.
old at the time, and to this day, almost everything he does is to honor his mom. He wears long sleeves to honor her fight against skin cancer. He wears a necklace with a piece of her hair during each game. He even elects to play for Team Canada instead of Team USA just to honor his mother, who was proudly from a city right outside of Toronto. It took Freddie 6 months after his mother's death to play baseball again. But when he did, he instantly fell back in love, quickly becoming one of the best players in the area. But at age 12, more tragedy struck. One night, his dad began feeling lightheaded and weak. Freeman didn't like what he saw. Already crushed by the death of his mother, he forced his dad to go to the hospital immediately.
This Freddie Freeman has to be like the smartest person. Not as in like math, science, or any other subject, but I'm saying like for life.
There they learned that Freeman's dad not only had congestive heart failure, but that if he would have waited and gone to sleep that night like he had planned, he would have likely passed away that night in his sleep. At 12 years old, Freeman was this close to becoming parentless. Worried, he made his dad promise he would take his health seriously. And to stay in shape, Freeman's dad began throwing him batting practice every day as his exercise of choice. At 12 years old, it's likely Freeman took batting practice every single day, not only because he loved baseball, but because he thought he was literally keeping his dad alive. And doing this over time made him one of the best hitters in the country. Highly touted out of high school, Freeman decided to forego college altogether. He got drafted in the second round and was only 17 years old. He got to pro baseball and quickly became one of the top 50 prospects in the world. He sailed through the minors and made his MLB debut at 20 years old. In almost every organization in the league, he'd be seen as the future of the franchise. But on the Braves, he was an afterthought, at least in the eyes of the public. And it was all because of this guy.
Swing and drive. Goes to right. Welcome to the show.
In 2010, Jason Hayward was the future of baseball. Him and Freeman were the same age, drafted in the same year, and were best friends. In 2010, Freeman lived in Hayward's apartment, even though Hayward was tearing up MLB and Freeman was still stuck in AAA. Hayward was being called the second coming of Hank Aaron. He was ranked the number one prospect in baseball. In spring training, the Braves had to put up tents in the parking lot because Hayward kept breaking car windows with home runs. This story spread and added to the lore. Then, in his very first MLB at bat, he hit a bomb, went on to be an all-star, won Rookie of the Year, and even got MVP votes. Freeman, on the other hand, was only allowed to play 20 MLB games this season. People in the know knew Freeman also had star potential, but the public was focused on Hayward. At only 20 years old, he was the Braves' most productive player, leading them to
I
the
don't
playoffs.
know what team he's playing now. Jason Hayward. He plays with the San Diego Padres now.
For the first time in half a decade. Freeman was left off the playoff roster altogether. The next year, Freeman did get his chance. Not only did he perform, another star rookie emerged. Craig Kimbrell arguably became the best rookie closer in MLB history, breaking the rookie save record with an entire month left to play. Kimbrell was first in Rookie of the Year voting. Freeman finished second. Hayward had won it the year before. Andrelton Simmons, another rookie, would go on to lead the team in WAR in 2013, and all of a sudden the Braves were stacked with young talent. They then added superstar free agent Justin Upton and his brother BJ Upton. The Braves were now World Series contenders. Playoff. It didn't work out that way. In 2011, they had in sports history. They blew an 8.5